This is one really pretty Class 15. If you've been following the Facebook posts at all, you know that this machine came by way of a gentleman by the name of James out of Denver, Colorado, whose mother lives in a place called Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. It's a real popular tourist spot known for skiing and all that kind of stuff. It's kind of like the Swiss equivalent of a travel destination if you're within Wisconsin. It's quite a beautiful place. And this machine had a number of different challenges. As I said in the Facebook posts, it basically was locked up, dead as could be, and in spite of James' best efforts and his mother, who's owned the machine for decades, it's her favorite machine, they could not get this machine, which is being used as a treadle machine, to even turn the balance wheel. It was just totally locked down. And there's a number of things I had to do to get it back on track. A lot of the stuff was in the raceway area with the hook and some other things that may or may not have just happened, or the suspicions of the customer is that it may have happened by way of grandchildren being curious about grandma's machine. So at any rate, it's a well-tuned machine again now. It's absolutely ready to get the job done as soon as it gets connected back to the treadle table and everything. But I remember the last time I finished a machine on that one, it was a very in-depth restoration for Shelly, and I ended up presenting the machine, showed the transformation and everything, but I never did any kind of a stitch off on it, and I got a couple of fingers wagged at me as to why I didn't show that beautiful machine actually sewing. So I didn't want to make the mistake again and present a machine and not do some sort of a stitch off. When it's in a state like this where it doesn't have a motor, it doesn't have a hand crank, what's your option if you're going to do a stitch off? Well, you basically use your pointer finger and you turn that balance wheel, and that's how you get it done. So that's kind of what I'm going to do in this stitch off. I could do it from a distance and then kind of show you the sew off so you could kind of see my method to the madness of getting that stitch off done. And that's in fact what I might do just for fun, so you can see, number one, how easy this machine does in fact turn. Now, when it came to me, wouldn't turn at all, was totally locked down, and now you can turn it through vegetable tan leather with one finger. And I don't know if I'm going to do 2 layers or not. Maybe that's pushing my luck a little bit too far, but I'm definitely going to do 1 stitch off, and then I'll zoom in and show you the beauty of how this machine now in fact sews now that it's back on track. So let me step around the camera, flip my little screen around, and see if I can, from this distance, do a quick stitch off with my finger. Not joking, folks. I'm going to do it with my finger. And you can see how Donna's 1945 Singer Class 15 can sew now that it's been on my workbench. Or I should say now that it's been on one of my workbenches, now that I have more than one workbench. And this machine specifically, I'll share with you, was born on November 9th, 1945. Now, the significance of this Class 15 is not that it was born on November 9th, 1945. That certainly is significant as a birth date. But the really cool thing about this particular model that James helped get to me on behalf of his mom, Donna, is that there were only 10,000 made in that manufacturing series. That's pretty doggone small. Yes, they have smaller manufacturing series than that, but that really attaches, in my estimation, a real high value to this machine. So what again I have, and you've seen this before underneath a presser foot recently with Lori's machine that went to Texas. This is vegetable tan leather, nothing thin about this stuff at all. And I'm going to go ahead and turn this, as you'll see, turn this by my pointer finger basically to get the job done, since I don't have the benefit of motor, and it certainly is not with its host treadle base, if that makes any sense. So, all right, let me see if I can get this done. Presser foot is down. I'll try to stay out of the way as much as I can, but I got to reach across here. to try to get the job done. Okay, here we go. Single layer of vegetable tan leather powered by Scott's pointer finger. Here we go. And don't say faster, faster, faster. I'm going as fast as I'm going to go without getting my fingers stuck in there. No injuries today, hopefully, huh? What I won't do for my customers and for my subscribers, right? All right, let me bring this to the highest point. I'm going to lift that presser foot up. I'll give this a clip real quick, and I'll show you what it's done as far as a single layer of vegetable tan leather. And, you know, my workshop is absolutely silent right now, other than the occasional sump pump kicking in because of all the rain we've had here. But I can tell you without any hesitation, this is a gorgeous stitch off. I'm going to clip these threads off. I'm going to set it right in front of the machine, and then I'm going to hopefully be able to show it a little bit more up close and personal after I do something probably a little bit crazy, and that is try to do 2 layers of this vegetable tan leather. You can't see it from this camera shot right now, but we're talking about 8 ounces of vegetable tan leather with an unmotorized machine. Doesn't have a hand crank, doesn't have a motor, isn't connected to its host treadle base driven by that wonderful belt. It's driven by Scott's index finger, and I am hoping that I haven't bitten off more than I can chew. You know, it's not in a base, it's sitting on my workbench, and hopefully I can get this done. So here we go. 2 layers of vegetable tan leather on this Class 15, born on November 9th, 1945. Again, came by way of James out of Denver, Colorado, on behalf of his wonderful mom, Donna, who lives in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. Here we go. All right, let's go, baby. We can do this. Come on. Speed her up, Scott. Take a risk, buddy. Take a risk. You got extra fingers. You can do this. I don't know what I'd classify myself. Probably about a 0.01 amp or something like that. I'm not going to give myself too much credit here. All right. Well, we got through it. There's the good news, right? Pull this out a little bit. Give this a clip. So we just to put it into perspective for you, we just sewed through the same amount of vegetable tan leather that we did on Lori's Singer 201-2 that just went back to Texas. We went through 2 layers of this stuff, about 6 to 8 ounces, and we powered it by my finger, my pointer finger. So I guess I've got a pretty kicking pointer finger there, because I don't know about you, but that sure looked pretty doggone easy to me. So this is the 2 layers. I'm going to set it right here. I'm sure hoping I can capture this on camera because they are drop dead gorgeous stitches. The other one I will put all the way on the other side over here, close to the pedestal, just behind the spool pin that you would use for winding a bobbin. And actually, I had to be creative in that respect too, because I don't have any way to motorize this machine. So I had to wind the bobbin by finger as well. So, all right, I'm going to set this down. I'm going to try to zoom in on this. I hope nothing falls over. And I want to show you how beautiful these stitches are on Donna's Class 15 that came to me not being able to do anything. So I'm hoping that they do a better job of keeping those grandkiddos away from Grandma's machine. All right, here's our 2 layers. I'm going to kind of go across as slow as I'm able. Maybe I can even get in a little bit closer. There we go. Look at those stitches. I'm going to pause there for a second. The formation, the spacing, everything about those stitches is absolutely spot on and gorgeous. Holy mackerel. And that's 2 layers of vegetable tan leather. Again, the same thickness that I just did on Lori's 201-2. Now, it's an absolute duh factor. Yes, Lori's machine could have done so much more than what I put it through the paces on. Again, I was looking to rush over to the post office and get that machine off to her. She had been ever so patient, kind of like Juliet as well, with the machine that she sent to me. And I wanted to honor that patience by trying to get that machine heading back to Texas. I already know what that 201-2 can do. I mean, put a patio block underneath it and that job's going to be done. So this Class 15, considering I'm powering it by my finger, I didn't want to go absolutely nuts on this one, but I could have even done more with that. If you could have been kind of a nerve in my finger of sorts and felt how easily it went through that 2 layers of vegetable tan leather, Donna is going to have an absolute blast with this Class 15 when it gets back to her. And she is going to love her son to death for having gone through the effort of getting this machine to me. Look at those stitches too. I'm going to try to go across as slow as I can, but I've got a little bit of a jiggly camera today. Those stitches are perfect in every respect. And you know what? To honor all of you that, you know what? I always say the proof is in the pudding. I'm going to step around the camera if I can carefully and turn these stitch offs over so you can also see the lock stitch as well. The lock stitch is really where the evidence is as to how that machine has been serviced and how it's done. And I'm absolutely delighted with both of these stitches as far as that is the case. So we've got some gorgeous stitches on here, and I'm absolutely tickled to pink with how this machine is done. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. I got to kind of get my vantage point on where I am. Okay, I can see it now. Okay, this again is the lock stitch on that single layer, kind of zip across there. Everything about those stitches is absolutely spot on and perfect. We go across here on the double layer, and we also have absolutely drop dead gorgeous stitches as well. Look at the grain of that leather. Again, we're talking 8 ounces of vegetable tan leather with a Class 15 powered by Scott's Finger. I am not making this up, folks. It's crazier than fiction. And I'm absolutely delighted that James entrusted this machine to me. There's a lot of providers that do restorative type work on machines similar, at least in definition, to the way I do it. And these folks could go so much closer to home and entrust their machine to someone else. And they go out of their way. I'm so honored. All of my customers that have gone out of their way to pack up a machine, to bring a machine, kind of like Connie did today with that Japanese clone Minnesota model. It's humbling to me that folks are willing to go to that extent to specifically entrust a machine that may have been in the family for decades, specifically to me. And I feel the same way towards Donna and James for giving me the opportunity to get this one back on track after presumably the grandkids got a hold of it, and I'm guessing it's going to be under lock and key at this point. So whatever happened with regard to the hook and all the mess that the machine had been put through doesn't happen again. I know from a financial standpoint that they would want to do that as well, because there's obviously an investment whenever you have to bring a machine to me, whether it's driving 6 hours round trip like Connie did today, or going through the laborious process of packing a machine up, or paying somebody to pack a machine up, as so many of you have done. So thank you again for that trust. Thank you for the privilege of being of service to you. And I'm excited to get this machine packed up pretty quick so I can get it heading back to Donna, and she can get her most cherished and her favorite vintage machine in her collection back to work for her. Who knows, maybe she'll be making gifts for the grandkids that potentially sabotage this machine for Christmas coming up soon enough. So take care, stay tuned, and thanks so much for being a loyal follower and a subscriber of the YouTube channel and all of that stuff. It's so great to be connected with you through these wonderful vintage machines. All right, talk to you soon.